All right, I'm live. Hey, Instagram. All right. I just said a statement to a client, and I really want to bring this in and share it with you because I feel like it's going to be massively useful, not only in the context of your body and your health, but also in your relationships and your experience in life in general. So, to give you some context, me and a client this morning were talking about how her hubby's going to take her on a date. And one of the statements she said, and this is something she's wanted for a while, and, she's been getting annoyed that he isn't taking the initiative, or it's not happening, or she needs to ask, or all of these things, right? And he actually asked her this morning. Super stoked, awesome. And one of the statements she said to me was, he hasn't done this in so long. And what I said back to her was, the past only exists if you continue to keep dragging it forward. And what I meant by this is you can put the focus on the fact that in this case, he hasn't asked me in however long, right? Which is a judgment and suggestion that, he doesn't do it. There's this focus or this energy towards like what he is not doing. However, if you were to focus in the now, he did ask today and you're going on a date. So the very thing that you want is happening. And yet there's a statement that brings up the past that it hasn't been done in a while. So technically what that is doing is shitting on the present moment in the now, taking away from this experience. And this happens a lot as well when it comes to body and health. And I want you to think about like stories that you tell yourself, reasons, you might call them excuses. Sometimes they are excuses, whatever story you've got going on, right? I can't do this because, oh, that doesn't work for me because, I can't lose weight because of da, da, da. Like, I can't get on top of my health because of da, da, da. Enter in the story that you tell yourself of why you can't do the thing that you want to do. And then I want you to ask yourself, how do I know that that is true? How do I know that that is true? And more often than not, you're going to know it's true because you've had it confirmed in the past. And then when you focus on that confirmation in the past, what happens in the now or something different doesn't get to be true. And so every time we do this, we're dragging the past into the future and repeating that pattern or repeating that story or repeating that cycle. And of course, I knew that was going to happen. How many times have you said to yourself, I knew that was going to happen? You knew it was going to happen because you've experienced it in the past. And then that just confirmed the past story that you told yourself. So in the case of my client, and often we talk about their relationships, right? Because how they're relating to their self is also how they're relating to other people. So in the context with my client, it's like, cool, he's inviting you today and your focus is on the fact that he hasn't done it in a while. So which do you want to focus on? What he hasn't been doing, or actually what he is doing in the now? And so let's flip this and relate this to you. Do you want to focus on what you haven't been doing, or do you want to focus on what you're doing now? Do you want to focus on how many times it hasn't worked for you in the past, or how many times you just can't get on top of your shit? How many times you just, I don't know, can't follow a plan? How many times you can't be consistent? How many times you failed? How many times it didn't work? And think about the energy and the effort that goes into this. If you were like, okay, cool, that's the past, this is today, what else is possible? What could be possible if that wasn't true? So I wrote down a couple of questions because I haven't done a live in a while, and there was about 95 things that I wanted to share. This often happens after a period of going inwards. I'm like, I've got a lot. So incoming. So the question is this: how do I know it to be true? So the next time you tell yourself a story or a reason why you can't do something or why something's not happening, ask yourself, how do I know that's true? More often than not, it's going to be because of something in the past that will confirm that for you. And then you can ask yourself, what could it be if that wasn't true? What is possible if that wasn't true? What might happen if that wasn't true? Because you cannot create something new if you're tainting it with the old brush. And I did a post maybe last week, just on my stories about how, like, some manifesting bullshit and how there isn't a secret that it's you, right? It is. This is manifestation, right? You're either manifesting something from the past or you're manifesting something new. So you're either focusing on something in the past or you're focusing on the new that you want to create. And unless you focus on the new that you're wanting to create, you're going to continue to create the past. And this is when we tell ourselves the same stories, or we have the same patterning, or we have the same habits, and we can't seem to break it. It can be as simple as, cool, what would you like to create that is new? What else could be possible? What would I like to be true? Even if you don't believe it. Because up until now, all you know is what happened in the past until you create something new. So you can drive your effort and your energy and your focus and your attention into what has happened in the past. Or you can work on shifting that into creating the new. It's going to take the same amount of effort. Hey, Cara, how you doing? It's going to take the same amount of effort. Just one is more comfortable than the other, right? The past is familiar. The past is, we know it. We can confirm that it's true because we've been there, done that, experienced it. Whereas when you're creating the new, it's more uncomfortable. It's like, I don't know if this is possible. Maybe, maybe not. You're never going to find out unless you actually give it a shot. Haha. Yes, I haven't done a live for a while. So you're blessed with this space. I hope you are well. Anyone that's jumping on, if you've got any questions, by the way, you can just ask as I go along. All right. And the other thing I wanted to speak to was nothing gets to be its own experience if it isn't new. And so, Cara, just to give you some context, I had a conversation with a client this morning who whose husband asked her out on a date, something she's wanted for a while. It's happening today, and she referenced that he hasn't done this in a long time. And so the focus is on what he hasn't been doing, as opposed to actually, he's asked me, being in the present moment, I'm going on a date today. How exciting. And we do this so much often in relationships, and then we do this with ourselves as well. We cut ourselves off at the knees. We cut ourselves off at the knees before we give ourselves the chance. And when we do this with ourselves, we also do this with others. And this is something common I see with my clients in their relationships. Their focus on what hasn't been happening, excuse me, can't talk, as opposed to what actually is happening. And when it comes to the choices with your body and your health, it's who cares what happened yesterday? It actually matters what happens today. Like, what are you choosing for yourself today? And if you don't like the choices you're making, you can choose something different. When it becomes complex, then you need to ask yourself the question, what is the benefit of me holding on to or bringing that past story or that pattern or that habit forward with me into now? Like, how is this serving me? How is this story serving me? And often we can't let go for many reasons, and that's when obviously you need to dive a bit deeper and do the work. But for the most part, if you can pause and recognize that what you're doing a lot of the time is dragging the past into the future, and you're robbing the future. Oh, what's that saying? Anyway, I don't know what it is. But every time you drag the past into the future, you rob yourself of a new future. Maybe. Anyway, maybe it's not a saying, it's something I just made up. And so to circle this back around, because I started talking about manifesting jargon, it's just giving yourself the opportunity to create something new and what that would be like for you. But as long as you keep dragging the past into the future, you won't be able to create the new. See you, Cara. Awesome. So, yeah, that's it. That is a wrap up for this conversation. I could continue to talk about the same thing and go round and round and round, right? If you're just catching me now, watch the replay back. There's a couple of questions you can ask yourself. Is this something that you are challenged with or struggle with? And if you've got any other questions or you'd like me to speak into something I've spoken about some more, please reach out. All right. Bye. Actually, I don't know how to end the live. This is hilarious. This one? Okay, yep. Figured it out.